All right. Hey, we're back again each and every Saturday uh, as we come together at the community roundtable, Brother Brian and Brother Marcus, speaking about issues that affect us in our community. And definitely have to use that pronoun again, our community. And that's what it takes. A community working together. Good morning, Brother Marcus. How you doing?
Oh man, I'm great, man. Glad to be sitting at the round table.
Well,
Um,
good. Tell the family what we do, man. When we come to the round table, what's our first and foremost obligation when we come to the round table and we sit down and we E.A.T.
EAT for us is an acronym which means evaluate all things. I'm gonna say that again. EAT for us is an acronym which means evaluate all things, and that's what we do sitting at the round table. Evaluate all things.
Exactly. And that's what we do. We do it together, never separate, but always together. Hey, Brother Marcus, we got a lot going on. But the closer we get to November, uh, people are taking it. I believe people are taking advantage of us. But before we get to that, we're going to talk about a couple of a few issues. The first one is going to be on the situation we've spoke about over the past 3 weeks dealing with the brother in Georgia, Ahmaud Arbery. Looks like the third person has been arrested on that savage hunt down to bring him to. Well, no, they did not attempt to bring him to justice. They took the law into their own hands as a lynch mob. And I'm hearing so many stories about it. Sounds like right now that just like back in the old movies, how the slave police or slave traders will hunt down a runaway slave. This is pretty much how they hunted this young man down and standing up in the back of pickup trucks with shotguns, chasing them down. They were too weak to chase him by foot, so they chased him down in vehicles. Then they tell me that they shot the man's hand off and then called their family members. So, and they took photos. And that's
Wow.
scary, brother. They took photos of the brother after they killed him. And what's so scary to me is that if it had not been for this new technology video, we would not receive a state of justice, the first step of justice that we're in today. What I mean, how does that put you into that mindset that in 2020, not 1820, but in 2020, nothing has changed but the day of time?
Oh yeah, man. It don't surprise me, but I didn't hear that about they took pictures of his hand being shot off. But I mean, they
Yeah,
always took pictures.
what they said was that the one of the McMichaels, they called their family members and the sister took photos while the brother was laying on the ground dead, took photos.
Yeah, yeah, that doesn't surprise me because if you see the pictures of when they was lynching us, they used to have uh, a group of people out there taking pictures, still photos. I mean, it's copies show us to this day when they was lynching us. So I mean, the same thing. This lynch mob took place. They did what they did to Ahmaud Arbery, and then now they taking pictures of that. But I didn't know that. But that's insane. That show you that this world deal with brutal situations like that, like it's nothing. It's just a common thing that happens every day. So I mean, wow.
And they
Uh,
feel
the
justified about
McMichaels,
it.
man, these guys are something else. But it's a lot of people involved in this thing. Oh yeah, definitely. They passing this case on like a hot case. So therefore, it seems like nobody wants to deal with it. It went through 4 different prosecutors' hands. Now they brought in a special prosecutor to prosecute this particular case and talking about uh, possibly making it a hate crime. But the state of Georgia don't even have a law such as a hate crime in the state of Georgia. On the
Exactly.
state level. So the federal prosecutor's saying, okay, we're gonna look at it. But in actuality, I think they're gonna let this case be uh, just gonna pass by the wayside. I don't think these guys are gonna get any time out of this situation, except the time that they sitting in jail. Because a jury, their peers, gonna try to acquit these guys because they putting out so much information. He walked into this dwelling. He was possibly trying to break into it. All of these different things. A lot of information hadn't been publicized. So they holding on to something, to be able to say, okay, this was justification. When you see the tape, when he go around the vehicle, they automatic showing him attack Travis McMichael, and then Travis McMichael struggle with the gun and then shoots him. They're gonna say, "Oh, this was justification. He attacked him." But the dude felt threatened, so he had to defend himself. But they're gonna try to use that to try to make this a justification case, and they're gonna try to throw this up under the table if we don't keep the pressure on. We got to keep the pressure on. If we don't keep the pressure on, guess what? The mic is gonna fall.
Well, we're going to talk about that, keeping pressure on those that represent in our community and those that should be held accountable. But getting back to what you're saying, yeah, definitely the McMichaels and the third person that just got arrested, William Bryant, the one that actually videotaped the Arbery running, they will attempt to justify it. And I thought very similar to you until the other videos came to life. And now the videos are being tied together in a linear effect to where when Arbery first went into the home and there's no door, and Kevin Johnson, attorney Kevin Johnson informed us about that. There was no breaking or burglary because there was no door on the home. Two, the video of the owner of the actual residence said that there were multiple of people entering the home, but only the McMichaels only went after the young black man. And also there was a recreation of how the McMichael and Brian was actually chasing them down, where Arbery was running from them, then he was evading them, then coming back. So with that one video, it was very scary. But now with all the other videos that are people and security camera videos, it's showing that he committed no crime. And the owner of the open home even said that there was multiple people that came in the day and also at night. But this was the only one that lost his life. And two, the owner of the home said that it looks like he entered the home looking for water.
Right. I don't understand the owner of the home neither, because the one of the officers texted him prior to this situation happening, saying that, look, if anybody comes to your dwelling, please contact the McMichaels. You know, like they was giving them the authority to be the police in this situation. But the owner said, I didn't get. Yeah, but the owner said, I didn't get the text after Arbery died or whatever, after the situation happened. But how do this officer gets his information to text him that particular text to say, okay, contact the McMichaels in this situation? I think Robert Rush, the officer, the homeowner, all of these people need to be really set down and investigated, because this is like a cahoots, you know, in a sense. But the McMichaels, Mr. Bryan, all of them is facing charges. It's other participants in this particular situation that need to face charges as well.
Yeah, the prosecutors, they did nothing. They need to be under investigation.
Can you hear me, Brian?
Yeah, everything coming in clearly. It froze up a little bit, but everything's good. The prosecutors need to also get to a stage where they have to be investigated, because they attempt to squash this killing, and they said that they can make a determination once it's into the grand jury. But it's clear they did not make any attempts to acquire additional information to make a sound decision. So yeah, it's a lot of mobbish actions that are going on.
Yeah, really a lot of mobbish action. But they always put us as the face of gangsters or whatever, or criminals or whatever, when in fact they the major criminals on the face of the United States. You know, they the major criminals, man. So, but they put us in that position, and we got to let the people know in the world that we not the criminals at this point, and Arbery wasn't a criminal at that point. So we need some justice in this situation. Those individuals need to be held accountable for their situation.
Absolutely. Well, brother, we got something else going on in our community that relates to the COVID-19 that we all know of as coronavirus. There was a bill passed by Bobby Rush. I'm sorry, that was authored by Bobby Rush up in Illinois, one of the old Black Panthers. HR 6666. Yeah, and it relates to a position called contact tracers. Contact tracers, and the word trace is an acronym, and I believe it spells out to teaching, reaching, and contacting everyone that may have been contacted or contracted this virus, or they've been around someone. So pretty much they're going to be health inspectors or health advocates going to people's homes, speaking to different individuals, gathering information, returning the data, and reporting back that, hey, this person contracted the illness and they were associated around a this number of individuals, a certain body of individuals. And so now they have to be questioned. So they're monetizing, the government is monetizing this by reaching out to the community, nonprofits, and they're creating this type of occupation at this time. But some people saying that, hey, this may be a step to Big Brother acquiring too much information on us.
I don't know about that, but I mean, it's a good proposal. You know, I mean, you know, you talking about the numbers, what's happening in the community, how it's happening, you know, who's getting affected by this. You know, like you said, Bobby Rush, this guy been an activist for a long time. Been a representative for us for a while. So we got to look into who he is and why did he author this bill. He authored this bill to try to help those in the impoverished communities to figure out are they getting affected in large numbers, or are the people just giving misinformation out. Now they made this bill seem kind of phony, so now the people don't trust it. So who is this? Who putting out this misinformation campaign where it's smearing what good the bill could have on the communities in itself, you know, and then providing sort of like jobs for people at this point, doing the research, collecting the data, seeing what COVID-19 is really affecting the people in the community, you know. So I don't think his gesture was a bad gesture, because I don't think he a part of the Big Brother politics, you know, saying that, you know, too much information is being revealed, or the Big Brother is collecting too much information, which is the cameras in the sky. But if it weren't for some of these cameras in the sky and all that, we wouldn't get the information that we have. You know, similar situation with the Aubrey brother. His cameras probably up and down the street due to people having surveillance on their homes or whatnot. So when police go and look back at footage, they say, oh, this is what happened in this particular case, because I seen him running this way or whatever. So, I mean, we need the information. We need the intel to be able to determine what's really happening with this COVID-19 thing, because me, myself, I think it ain't as deadly as they say it is. But, and I think it's just me. I think they want to give us some kind of vaccine. I mean, why come up with all this information? Why you not doing, you know, certain things about the cancerous death that's happening in America? You shut down the whole country for COVID-19, but you ain't shut down the country for the #1 killer in America, which is cardiovascular disease. I mean, people dying every day. So we need the information. And I think I think the proposal was a good proposal by Brother Bobby Rush.
Yeah, HR 6666. So check it out. And actually, it's not something that is brand new. It was just being proposed during this pandemic, but it's been around for years, where during other viruses or pandemics that took place, where information in a traditional form, face-to-face, had to be related. But today with technology, the key, as they're trying to relate to Big Brothers, that into today's society with technology, individuals do not have to go around face-to-face. What they can do is actually use an app. And that becomes the challenge there. If you download an app, now whoever is the creator or who actually is monitoring the app will have access to your phone without a warrant, because you have given permission. So there's different avenues, different ends to evaluating this. How much information are you actually giving up, willfully and unwillfully? So it has to be determined. But go ahead.
Well, they're getting all our information anyway. We signing up for Facebook. We sign up for Instagram, TikTok. You know, these people already got our information. We signed up for banking online. So this information is already readily available. So when we talk about something that possibly help the community, we got to look at what the bill really entails. So the information is important. You know, if you don't have the intel or the information, you know, somebody might get rich off that app, though. I'm sure. Just like somebody's getting rich off Zoom right now. Zoom wasn't as popular as it is now due to COVID-19. But somebody gonna get rich anyway. This is about the rich getting richer and the poor getting poor anyway. So we got to figure out what's good for the people. This is about the people. And the brother took an oath for the to represent the people according to the Constitution, whether it's on Chicago's the state level or from the highest level, which is the federal level. So I mean, he's trying to do something that's going to be of a worthy cause. You know, getting the information and seeing what the numbers really are.
Yeah, you were speaking about Zoom. You're exactly right. In January of this year, Zoom stock was at $69 per stock. Now it's at 145, 146 per stock. So as individuals in our community, if we're using it, we should purchase at least one or two pieces of stock. Since we're using it anyway, and that will help us by being an investor, a small minority, investing in something that's actually working. But two, you're right. Bobby Rush, Congressman Bobby Rush does represent the people. And two, it's not about what you think you know, it's about what you can prove. And the only way you can prove anything is through information, is through data. So you line up the data, just like you mentioned, dealing with Arbery. That individual video was sent out by McMichael, the father, because he thought the incident around the truck, he was attempting to use that video to just as a form of justification that his son feared for his life and that also that his son was in the right. But as the other videos started to reveal, now the time frame lines up to showing that, hey, this Arbery was actually running for his life and never committed a crime. So the perpetrators, hey, they have to be questioned. Hey, can you hear me?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, they got to pay for the. Yeah, I can hear you sound like you muffled though. It keeps showing that the internet is going in say internet is bad or something on the top of the screen.
All right. Well, I don't see that on mine, so we're gonna keep it rolling as much as we can. So let's talk about food insecurity. Now I know for the past couple of weeks you've been mentioning about, hey, this is what we need to chat about. We need to open up the eyes of the people in our community when it comes to food insecurity. And we were speaking about, and it's all about at the community roundtable about E.A.T. So tell me, what motivated you? What is your big passion for this subject that we are talking about, food insecurity?
My big passion because they always try to make us the face of food stamps or welfare. When in fact, I mean, we talk about this as if this is something that people shouldn't want. Oh, don't get any welfare. Don't be on food stamps. This is about the people. You know, you're talking about making one particular person the face of it. When in fact, this is about everybody. We all should get some kind of supplemental income. We pay the taxes. It's our dollars. So when you create these kind of situations, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic thing, nobody has a job right now. So food stamp supplement, the SNAP program is a valuable tool to help the people get some food in their house. You see, so but don't make one person the face of it, and then act as if the other people in the United States isn't getting anything in a beneficial aspect of being benefited from this particular program. This particular program helps everybody, but the face of it really is the Europeans in America. White people outnumber anybody that gets supplemental income in America because they got the highest number of people in the state and the country. Mm-hmm. So we got to look at that and stop being afraid of accepting supplemental income because I mean it's helpful.
Yeah, I definitely believe that at times I become empathetic to food insecurity as I started to actually break it down. Food insecurity can also mean that the access to getting food or proper food in our communities. Sometimes our communities become food deserts from fresh food or organic food, and we have a lack of the proper food in our community. And the more I started to, you mentioned this, and I started to study it and understand it, start to realize that food insecurity can be as simple as a mother raising 2 or 3 children purchasing a overwhelming amount of ramen noodles or pancake mix in order for this food to last for a period of time. And that could be a sense of, or that is a sense of food insecurity, because we're attempting to make it last for a period of time. And this, what they call it, uh, uh, um, pasta will stretch out for a long period of time, and it becomes a little bit more affordable than fresh fruit, vegetables, things like that in our community.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, when you look at, I'm reminded of what Tupac said: "You got money for war, but you can't feed the poor." You know, this that was a rapper. He said, "You got money for war, but you can't feed the poor." You talking about? I'm talking about. You spent 800 some billion dollars on a war that's been happening for the last 16 years. But when you talking about something that's relevant for the people, food for impoverished people, you saying, "Nah, we ain't gonna spend no money toward that." Then the person like Donald Trump comes up and say during his campaign, "I want the welfare rolls to decline." What do you mean by that? Who you saying that in reference to? You know, you saying that in reference to black people in America, they own food stamps. Then you got people like Kanye West that comes out and say, "Look, hey, only reason why black people vote for Democrats because they support the welfare program." Man, this guy don't have any sense. He don't know anything about no politics. He just a celebrity at this point that does music. But is he politically inclined? No, he isn't. Do he represent everybody in the community? No, he doesn't. So that's why the information had to come out. Who is the real face uh, of supplemental income programs in America? That's why one of the staff members at the White House started the research and released all information about the individuals who are the face of supplemental income. White people being 47% of those who receive welfare and food stamps. You see what I'm saying? Where black people only make up like 27% of that. Uh, Latinos make up what? 17% of that, you know, because they not legalized citizens and stuff of that nature. So they not able to go and produce their IDs or a uniform card to show that they are citizens of America to be able to get the supplemental income. They need it as well. Actually, everybody in this time in this era needs some kind of supplemental income because of due to the COVID-19 stuff. They shut the whole world down. So that's why you got to understand politics, because these people who represent us really don't represent us, and then they still label us 3/5 of a man according to the Constitution, and we not a part of this society in his existence for real, but we act as if we are, and we thinking we are because we got the right to vote and stuff of that nature. But in actuality, this stuff isn't about us, you know. So we got to find a way to create to not have any food shortages. You see what I'm saying? By coming together collectively and building a new system, a new paradigm against whatever they trying to put up and say that, oh yeah, y'all represent this because y'all are the most predominant people who are welfare recipients. That's not who we are. We people who came from under slavery and built some things up and changed the trajectory of what's going on in society.
Yeah, food food insecurity is a very serious topic for many reasons. Number one, I saw a meme or whatever they call a meme, and it said that if you don't fight for anything, do not cry about it once it's been changed, or something similar to
Or
that. Something
they
similar to
say
that.
they should have said you should not cry about if it haven't been changed or whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
Because I
something
mean,
similar to
we
that.
cry we cry about everything, but we got to set up some systems that we don't have to cry anymore. You know, we spent 14 trillion dollars last year in the economy. You know, why are we still crying, or why are we still asking for justice in America? We got to figure out how we put up a system. We got to. I think you know what I think really when we went into integration and forgot about us as a group of people. We started to think that we was a part of the system that rolled the time back on us. We shouldn't have to be still crying about injustice in America. What are we asking for? What is our agenda? We don't have an agenda anymore. You know, we in the system that really doesn't care about us. And it is what it is. We got to figure that out. Why we still crying about everything and not worried about nothing.
Yeah, you're exactly right. We got to get to the stages of becoming farmers in our own community or homegrown farmers. We need to, at a minimum, grow our own tomatoes for our own consumption, possibly get a chicken or two, have our own natural eggs. So there's a lot we can do to support ourselves and our neighbors and barter with one another. So if you have chickens, I don't, but I have greens, we can barter together. We could swap out resources. And that's what we have to do. In the event, if I don't have either, I can exchange my labor for what you have growing out of the ground. We have to get to that stage because the day and times, the time and space that we share, it is changing right before our eyes. And if we do not fight for what we believe in, we should not cry for when someone else makes a change to it.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, they've been changes and amendments to the Constitution and everything that we believe in uh, since it was since it was drafted. So I mean, change is inevitable. You got to change, but you can't remain the same. Again, food shortages. What's the reason for it? Taxes. What's the reason for it? Why do we pay it? If we can't. We Why do we pay taxes if we can't benefit from the taxes that we pay in? The monies that generated back to us uh, uh, in the form of government spending. They allocate money for everything. So why not put more money toward the welfare reform program? Why not put more money towards? You know, but these are questions that you got to ask your local politician, your federal politician. But we don't deal with politics well because we're not a part of the political infrastructure. We got a few people that represent us on the state, local, and federal level, but just very few. So the mindset ain't the same for everybody. You know, State of Louisiana, we got what 105 House representatives. Each state got its own constitution, its own
Mm-hmm.
state representative senators and House of Representatives. So we got to understand what it is and how it affects us and why we go out and vote, why we still crying, like you say, crying for everything and don't have anything at this point. I mean, they freed us 1863. They freed us, or 1865, however which one you want to call. Whichever number you choose to see fit that they freed the blacks in America. You know, they freed us in 1865, and here 2020, we still crying about injustices, shortage of food program, all of these different things because we fell victim to a system that really ain't our system, and we trying to fit in. We can't fit in. We got to go around these systems and produce some systems that will create something for us as a people.
Well, when you say go around the system, I mean the system is in place for a reason. I think we have to get to the stages of understanding the system and then dissecting the system and allowing the system to work for us. For an example, I know a lot of people that are currently in business in the small business world, small business environment in our communities. However, they do not have an occupational license. They do not actually file taxes or own a business. So in the event if anything ever happens, how can they expect to receive some of those benefits that you're talking about from the federal government that we as a business society have paid into, but some choose not to pay into that society, but expect to receive funding from that or earmarked funds in the future. But it's about understanding the system. And I think that's where we fall a little bit short at not understanding the system, but more so being afraid of a system that's put in place.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't receive any of the funding anyway, because again, the systems we not a part of. Banking, we underbanked. We don't have any banking systems in place that's for the overall group of people. You see what I'm saying? So we not getting any portions of the monies that they earmarking toward us. Small black businesses who represent us in the small business or administration. We from Louisiana, Monroe, Louisiana, to be exact. The Small Business Administration give you very little information on how to conduct a business or start one. You
Mhm.
know, and we not in it. We ain't even members. You know, we not looked at as a part of the system. So when you're not looked at as a part of the system, then I'm not looking out for your best interest. You know, they not sitting. They got small business organizations that have meetings. When are we having meetings about our small businesses? How many black owned businesses are there in the city? What they represent? Who uh, provide what particular service? We need to have the. That's what I mean about creating systems to be able to be in the know, to have information. We talk about agriculture. Our state representative was on the committee where our state senator, when she was a House representative, she was on the committee for agriculture. Why are we not doing real agribusiness in the state of Louisiana or in Monroe about about agriculture, being able to create food products for the citizens in that particular region or that district? You see what I'm saying? They got 15 different committees. All these people that represent us are part of different committees. So when they are part of the committee, they represent the people. These people don't even come and inform us about what's happening in the Senate or in the state Congress when they having particular meetings or whatnot. So we don't know anything about the political landscape of, especially the earmarking of money and where it's going. It's not going in, it's not going into the impoverished communities that we live in for real. You see it for yourself when you cross the track on the north side of Monroe, Louisiana versus the south side of Monroe, Louisiana. And this is not only happening in Monroe, Louisiana, this is happening in every city and state. You see, the systems has the systems are not represented equally. You know, that's why, when Dred Scott, the Dred Scott decision, Dred Scott versus Stanford, when he was trying to gain his freedom, he petitioned the court, and Roger Taney, which was Chief Justice at the time, said, "No, this ain't about he's not a free man. And when we wrote this Constitution, it wasn't about him. It's about us. So we still been forcing our way, trying to make it about us. It's not about us. When they say we are the people, they want to talk about we are all American citizens. No, every race, a different ethnic group in America. They was talking about a particular group of people that 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 they formed this Constitution around. But we always talk about the Constitution. That's why I say they always making amendments and adjustments to the Constitution, because we don't understand. See, that's what we have to study, that particular document that governs the whole 50 states. At that time, it was 13 states. Now it's 50 states and untold cities, right? So in those different states, they got their own constitution. And how does it represent you and I? When do we figure out what's going on from a local, state, and federal level that helps us as a people? We have to become one group, and until we become one group, we're not going to be represented properly.
Well, that is the biggest challenge there. Being represented, and that's all a person that we elect can do, is represent the body as a whole. However, it's going to take us as individuals to get actively involved in the election process, in the committee process, in the gathering of information. We must stay actively involved each and every day. In the event we stop being involved or have a local representative or a state representative, we must trust that individual. So if you choose or we choose not to get out and get involved, or to understand who's our state representative, who's our state, who's our local representatives, and we never reach out to them, or if we hear them say something we agree with and we do not support them, or we hear something that we disagree with and we do not voice our opinion on it, we allow that person to reign free because we chose to become silent. But we have to get involved and stay involved.
Oh yeah, definitely. I agree with us getting involved, but again, it comes from a lack of education. This process of being politically inclined, man, these politicians are political game bangers. They represent colors, red and blue. They fighting each other in the House, in the Senate. They fighting each other about different issues that's for the people. All right, when you look at on our levels, the state level, you know, in the Senate,
Take it from a
in
local level.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. At a local level, in the Senate, our our state senator is some guy named Stuart Cathy Jr. Right, and our state and our other senator is Sister Katrina Jackson, right? So these are people that represent us on that level. So now one is a Republican, one is a Democrat. Now, are they really sitting down talking about what's good for the people, or are they trying to figure out what state what who should represent what from a Republican standpoint and a Democratic standpoint? So now, when they do that, they start fighting among who represent what color, red or blue, political game bang. Now the people is eliminated because they're not talking. They arguing and fight. Oh, I should be I should be the state senator. You see what I'm saying? So I know for the people stuff is going on at that point. Same thing happens on in the House of Representatives. Brother Frederick Jones representatives in the House of Representatives. Pat Moore representatives in the House of Representatives. A couple more. It's 5 of them that represent us on the Washington Parish level. Now, are they really 2 of them Democrat, 3 of them Republican? Are they really talking about what's good for the people? See, the people are really uneducated to the political system, so they can't get involved because they don't understand. They just
so with that, I mean, you can't blame the representatives because they've been voted to represent. I believe it goes back down to the basics of education, educating from a preschool level, mid-school level, high school level, college, and also in these organizations that are in our community that are called nonprofit organizations or the spiritual organizations. Because they have something that's called Sunday school. This is where we have to understand and know this information, or more so, if we ever have a question about what's going on, they have telephone numbers, they have emails, they have they have multiple ways you can contact them. We should never ask, well, what's going on? Yeah. Reach out. They run your business. If you have your individual business, do you allow your employees just to run it and you never hold them accountable? We have to think of it like that.
Yeah, I mean, I do. I think of it in that context. But I'm saying I'm not blaming the persons that represent us, and I am blaming them because they don't inform us. That's the situation. When somebody represents you, they have to inform you of what's really happening. Don't come out during election time and talk, and then I don't see you for 2.5 years or 3 years and telling me what's beneficial for me as a person. Like when I'm a business owner, right? When in my business, I'm gonna be informed of what's going on. So, and then I'm gonna inform my employees of what's happening. Therefore, they can make adjustments. Now, if they don't make the adjustment, I got to let them go, or they'll ultimately destroy my business. My son, prime example of not being informed, do crazy things because he a literate kind of guy. But when it comes to politics, business, he thinks what he's doing is right, when in fact what he's doing is wrong. You understand? So when you're not informed in the proper manner, then you ultimately fall victim to things that go on a local, state, and federal level. When they earmark monies, where they need to inform the people where it's going, how it benefits Tanglewood, Robertson Place, Richwood, all these different places in the Black community on the south side of Monroe, Booker T, all the way back. You see what I'm saying? These people have to be informed because they don't know, especially the older generation. The young really misinformed. So those that represent you got to step up and say, okay, this is what's happening. This is how we do this, and that. Because I represent you. You see what I'm saying? So when I represent you, I got to inform you more importantly than anybody in the community. I got to inform the people because I'm elected by the people, and the people I represent the people. So when the people need something, I need to understand why they need it. Representative Katrina, she made an extension for the food supplement program that you can get an extra 200, 300 some odd dollars in food stamps, right? During the COVID-19 thing. I applaud that. It was informed by Facebook. You know what I mean? That's how I got it. You see what I'm saying? So I'm an inquisitive kind of guy. The person that's behind me may not be this inquisitive. You see what I'm saying? Or be want to know what's going on. So I'm gonna inform them another way. Like I'm drop leaflets. I'm gonna tell them that okay, you can extend your food stamp program by taking advantage of this, and that. You see what I'm saying? I applaud that situation. But when you talk about for the masses of people that don't understand, they don't get it, and that's why our systems ain't contributing to the community as a whole because the system ain't about us. That's why I always say we got to change the system, not buy into them. We got to change them because if they not changed, they don't represent the whole group of people. They don't represent the masses. They represent a few.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, let's do this because we both see things similar and we meet in the middle, and that's the key to it. Individuals that run businesses and they are just sole proprietors, they find it at a what they call it, a stalemate when event if they do not have the
Yeah,
negotiating or compromising ability. So that's why it's good for us to be able to sit down at the round table, dialogue, and find out not works best for you or I, but as the whole, as a community. And that's what we have to do. So, Brother Marcus, I tell you what, our time is short, and we're going to end this and come back next on the next conversation. We're going to talk about voting and also this big topic about Mr. Biden. So
oh
until
yeah.
next time, I will see you.
Okay, yes, sir, brother. I mean, again, thanks for coming to the community roundtable. I enjoy this conversation because I mean we need to evaluate all things. That's what the conversation is all about. Evaluate everything in our community. Everything. E.A.T. I'm out.